Laziness is not as innocent as it seems. On the surface, it feels harmless, even comforting. You tell yourself, "I'll do it later," and for a moment, you feel relief. But beneath that comfort hides a silent thief. Laziness steals the hours you cannot replace. It wastes the energy that could have built something meaningful. And it creates a gap between the life you live now and the life you truly desire. The greatest cost of laziness is not that you do nothing, it is that while you wait, your opportunities slip away unnoticed. Time does not pause because you hesitate. The world keeps moving forward. And every moment of laziness is a moment surrendered forever. Think of all the ideas, the goals, the dreams that once excited you. How many of them are still waiting in the back of your mind, gathering dust because you told yourself you would start tomorrow? Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next month, and soon years pass by while the dream stays locked away. Laziness convinces you that you have time, but time is the very thing you are running out of. The harsh truth is that people do not fail because they lack talent or intelligence. Many fail simply because they never began. Laziness disguised itself as safety and stole their courage to act. The cost of laziness is also felt in your confidence. Every time you give in to it, a small part of your self-belief erodes. You may not notice it immediately, but deep down, you know when you have betrayed your own potential. That quiet disappointment builds up, and before long, you start to believe you are incapable. This is how laziness not only steals your time, but also poisons your mind. It teaches you to expect little from yourself. And when you expect little, you accept less from life. But understand this: laziness is not a fixed part of you. It is not your identity. It is a habit, and habits can be broken. When you see its true cost, when you feel the weight of the hours it has already stolen from you, something inside begins to awaken. Suddenly, the comfort of lying still does not feel like rest anymore. It feels like regret. Regret is far heavier than effort. Regret is a burden you carry for a lifetime, while effort only lasts for a moment. You push, you struggle, you sweat, but then you grow stronger. Laziness demands nothing from you now, but charges you later with interest. Effort demands from you now, but pays you back for a lifetime. The most dangerous thing about laziness is how quietly it operates. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you there's still time, that it's not urgent, that you can wait just a little longer. But one day, you wake up and realize that little longer has already become too long. If you want to kill laziness, you must begin by recognizing the price it makes you pay. When you see the damage it has caused, you will no longer see it as comfort. You will see it as the enemy. It truly is. One of the biggest traps people fall into is confusing laziness with rest. At first glance, they may look the same. You are sitting still, you are not taking action, you are stepping away from work. But the energy behind them, the intention behind them, could not be more different. Rest is powerful. Rest is renewal. Rest is when the body and the mind recover so you can rise again with greater strength. Laziness, on the other hand, is avoidance. It is not giving yourself what you need, but running away from what you must face. And this distinction is crucial, because if you mislabel laziness as rest, you will allow it to grow in your life until it consumes your energy completely. Rest always has a purpose. You work hard, you give effort, you push yourself forward, and then you step back to recover. This cycle is natural and essential. The greatest athletes, the wisest thinkers, the most successful creators in history understood that effort without recovery leads to exhaustion. Rest is strategic. It prepares you for the next move. When you rest, you are fueling your body, feeding your spirit, sharpening your mind. You come out of it stronger, clearer, ready to act again. This is why true rest feels fulfilling. After Rest, you feel energized and alive. Laziness, however, does the opposite. It drains you even while you do nothing. Why? Because laziness carries guilt. Deep down, you know when you are avoiding your responsibilities, when you are turning away from the things you promised yourself you would do. Instead of feeling restored, you feel heavy. You feel tired even though your body has not moved, because your mind is carrying the weight of unfulfilled duties. Laziness pretends to give you peace, but it delivers restlessness. You scroll endlessly on your phone. You waste hours in distractions. But afterward, you feel emptier, not stronger. That is the mark of laziness. If you want to kill laziness, you must learn to separate it clearly from rest. Ask yourself, am I stopping because I need to recover? Or am I stopping because I am avoiding? This question shines a light on the truth. Rest is a conscious choice. Laziness is an unconscious escape. Rest leads to progress. Laziness leads to stagnation. Rest is earned through effort. Laziness tries to take without giving anything first. When you make this distinction clear in your mind, you begin to reclaim your power. There is nothing wrong with sitting still. With breathing, with doing nothing for a while, that nothingness is part of your growth. But when sitting still becomes your way of avoiding, when doing nothing becomes a habit that keeps you from facing the challenges of life, then it is no longer rest. It is sabotage. Rest heals you. Laziness weakens you. Rest is your ally. Laziness is your enemy in disguise. The moment you see the difference, you will stop protecting laziness and start protecting your energy. That is when you begin to take control of your life again. Many people wait for motivation to arrive before they take action. They wait to feel ready. They wait for inspiration, for the spark, for the perfect moment when their energy will rise and push them forward. But this is why so many remain stuck. Motivation is like the weather, changes without warning. Some days it shines bright, and everything feels possible. Other days it disappears completely, and you are left with nothing but excuses. If you depend only on motivation, your progress will always be fragile, unstable, inconsistent. The truth is simple. Motivation may start the journey, but only discipline will finish it. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It does not ask how you feel. It only asks what needs to be done. When you build discipline, you no longer wait for the perfect mood to act. You act because you have made a commitment to yourself. Discipline is the silent power that moves you forward even when your mind resists. It is waking up early when the bed feels too comfortable. It is choosing to practice when no one is watching. It is showing up again and again until your effort creates results that no one can deny. Motivation belongs to emotions, and emotions are temporary. Discipline belongs to identity, and identity is lasting. When you tell yourself, "I am disciplined," you are not describing a feeling, you are describing who you are, and that belief changes everything. Because when you see yourself as disciplined, every action you take aligns with that truth. You no longer ask, "Do I feel like it today?" Instead, you remind yourself, "This is who I am, and this is what I do." That is the strength of discipline. It transforms effort into part of your character. Think about the people you admire most. Are they the ones who simply felt motivated? Or are they the ones who built habits so strong that even on their worst days, they still moved forward? Every master of any craft has faced days of doubt, fatigue, and lack of energy. But they kept going. Not because they were always motivated, but because they were disciplined. Discipline carries you when motivation abandons you. Discipline does not ask permission from your mood. The good news is that discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you train, like a muscle. Every time you choose action over excuse, every time you choose effort over comfort, you strengthen that muscle. And just like training the body, it grows gradually, quietly, until one day you realize discipline has become second nature. What was once difficult becomes automatic. What once required willpower becomes routine. That is when you become unstoppable. Motivation may light the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Without discipline, even the brightest spark fades quickly. With discipline, even the smallest spark can grow into a powerful flame. If you truly want to kill laziness and rise above it, you must stop chasing the unstable winds of motivation and begin building the unshakable foundation of discipline. One of the greatest illusions of progress is the belief that you must take giant steps to transform your life. Many people look at their goals and feel paralyzed because the distance between where they are and where they want to be seems overwhelming. They wait for the perfect moment to take a massive leap forward, forgetting that transformation rarely comes from one huge action. It comes from small actions, repeated with consistency until they gather unstoppable momentum. Think of a snowball at the top of a hill. At first, it is small and fragile. If left untouched, it will remain that way forever. But the moment you give it a little push, it begins to roll slowly, quietly, almost unnoticed at first. It gathers speed. With every turn, it picks up more snow, becoming bigger and stronger. Soon, it is no longer fragile. It is powerful, unstoppable. This is how momentum works in your life. Small actions consistently repeated accumulate power until they move you forward without effort. The mistake many people make is dismissing small actions as meaningless. They think, what difference does one workout make? What difference does writing one page make? What difference does waking up 10 minutes earlier make? But greatness is never built in one day. It is built in the invisible, ordinary choices you make every single day. The one workout, the one page, the one early morning, they may not change everything instantly, but they set the foundation. They are the pushes that start the snowball rolling. And if you keep pushing, the momentum will take care of the rest. Momentum is powerful because it changes your relationship with effort. At first, starting feels heavy. You need willpower. You need energy. You need to force yourself into motion. But once you build momentum, effort becomes lighter. Your actions carry you forward. Habits guide your steps, and what once felt difficult begins to feel natural. This is the hidden gift of small actions. They make the path smoother the longer you walk it. If laziness is your enemy, momentum is your strongest weapon. Laziness thrives in stillness. It whispers, do nothing, wait, delay. But momentum silences laziness because once you are in motion, doing nothing no longer feels natural. A body in motion wants to stay in motion. A mind in focus wants to stay in focus. When you start small and stay consistent, you reach a point where not acting feels more uncomfortable than acting. That is when you know momentum has taken over. The secret is not to wait for motivation to strike. The secret is to choose one small action you can take today and do it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, then repeat it tomorrow. And the next day. The size of the action does not matter. What matters is the rhythm, the consistency, the refusal to break the chain. Over time, small actions become routines. Routines become habits, and habits create momentum so powerful that nothing can hold you back. One of the hidden reasons laziness thrives in our lives is not because we lack potential, but because our attention is constantly scattered. In a world filled with endless notifications, voices, and demands, our energy leaks away before it is ever channeled into meaningful action. Distraction is the silent thief of progress. It disguises itself as harmless entertainment, endless scrolling, or minor tasks, but in reality, it is draining the very fuel you need to act with purpose. If you want to kill laziness, you must learn to cut distractions and protect your energy like a guardian protecting something sacred. Your energy is your life force. Where it flows, your life grows. When you waste it on distractions, your goals remain untouched, your dreams remain distant, and laziness grows stronger. Laziness often does not come from a lack of ambition, it comes from a lack of focus. Imagine trying to light a fire with the sun's rays. The light is scattered. It warms but never burns. But if you concentrate it through a magnifying glass, the focused beam has the power to ignite flames. Your mind works the same way. Scattered attention produces nothing. Focused attention creates transformation. To protect your energy, you must become ruthless about what deserves your attention and what does not. Every time you pick up your phone to scroll aimlessly, every time you let other people's opinions drown your inner voice, every time you indulge in activities that numb your mind, instead of sharpening it, you are feeding the habits of laziness. You are giving away your energy for free. But the moment you set boundaries, the moment you remove distractions, the moment you say no to what is unimportant to reclaim your power, ask yourself, how many times have you said you had no energy to pursue your goals, when in reality, you had simply spent your energy on things that did not matter? How many times has laziness been a mask, hiding the truth that your energy was already drained before you even began? Cutting distractions is not about deprivation, it is about liberation. It is about freeing your mind from noise so that your energy can flow toward the actions that truly matter. Protecting your energy also means protecting your environment. Your surroundings shape your state of mind. If your space is cluttered, your mind feels heavy. If your relationships are filled with negativity, your energy is consumed by conflict. If your habits revolve around consumption instead of creation, your inner power weakens. To kill laziness, you must consciously build an environment that supports clarity, focus, and strength. This may mean cleaning your space, setting time boundaries, or limiting the voices you allow into your life. The truth is simple. Distraction is the food of laziness, and focus is its death. When you cut distractions and guard your energy, you silence the noise that pulls you away from yourself. Suddenly, your actions become sharper, your thoughts clearer, and your energy stronger. Laziness cannot survive in a life where energy is honored and focus is protected. The most powerful way to kill laziness is to stop defining yourself by excuses and start redefining yourself through action. Many people live trapped inside a story. They keep repeating to themselves, "I'm too tired, I don't have time, I'm not motivated. It's not the right moment." These words become chains that keep them in place. Laziness grows stronger with every excuse because excuses create comfort, and comfort creates stagnation. If you want to rise above laziness, you must rewrite your story not with words, but with consistent action. You are not your excuses. You are not the failures of your past, nor the limitations others have placed on you. You are what you do repeatedly. You are the sum of your actions. Every single time you choose to act instead of delay, you build a new identity. An identity is what truly destroys laziness. Laziness loses its grip the moment you stop saying, "I can't," and start proving to yourself, "I did." Think about how the strongest people you admire were not born with endless motivation. They, too, faced the temptation of laziness, the weight of doubt, the pull of comfort. The difference is that they did not allow excuses to define them. They chose action even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was inconvenient. Every small action was a vote for the person they wanted to become. That is how identities are built, not in thoughts, but in deeds. Redefining yourself through action means no longer waiting for the perfect time. It means realizing that the perfect time does not exist. The best time will always be now. Each time you delay, you train your mind to associate action with hesitation. Each time you push forward, even when conditions are not ideal, you train your mind to associate action with courage. The more you choose courage, the less room laziness has to exist in your life. It also means seeing excuses for what they are: illusions. Excuses sound reasonable, they sound protective, but they are simply lies that keep you trapped. "I'll start tomorrow" becomes "I never started." "I'm too tired" becomes "I stayed tired forever." The moment you recognize excuses as the language of laziness, you gain the power to silence them. Replace every excuse with an action, no matter how small. If you feel tired, move anyway. If you feel unprepared, begin anyway. If you feel lazy, act anyway. That single act of defiance against your excuses is the spark that rewrites your story. Redefining yourself through action does not happen in a day, happens every day. It is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Laziness cannot survive in the presence of a person who consistently acts in alignment with their vision. Every step, no matter how small, becomes proof that you are no longer the person who waits, you are the person who moves. And the more you move, the more powerful your identity becomes. Eventually, laziness is no longer part of who you are. Action is. Laziness is not a permanent part of who you are. It is a shadow that only exists when you allow it to. Throughout this journey, we have seen that laziness is nothing more than wasted potential, disguised comfort, and the surrender of energy to distractions and excuses. But within you lies a force far greater than laziness: the force of discipline, the fire of intention, and the courage to act. When you rise early with purpose, when you create momentum through small, consistent steps, when you train both body and mind, when you cut away distractions, and when you refuse to let excuses define you, you transform. Laziness no longer has a place to hide, because you no longer give it the shelter of your thoughts or the food of your habits. The truth is simple. Your future is being written every single day by the choices you make. Each decision is either a step toward strength or a step toward weakness. Each action is either a vote for laziness or a vote for power. You cannot control the opportunities life will give you, but you can control the state in which you meet them. Kill your laziness, and you will meet life with energy, clarity, and focus. Protect your energy, build your discipline. Now you will become unstoppable. So let this moment be the turning point where you stop waiting and start moving, where you stop making excuses and start creating results. Laziness dies the moment you decide to act. Every breath you take is a chance to prove to yourself that you are stronger than your impulses, stronger than your distractions, stronger than your comfort. And when you consistently choose action over idleness, you will discover something profound. Laziness was never your true self. It was only a mask. Your true self is power, discipline, resilience, and movement. Do not allow another day to be stolen from you by laziness. The time to act is now. The time to rise is now. The time to live with energy and purpose is now. The world does not need a lazy version of you, needs the strong, awake, and disciplined version of you. And that version is already within you, waiting for your decision. Kill your laziness, and you will no longer live in delay. You will live in action, you will live in strength, and you will live fully.